Hi, and welcome to Finding Dharma. My name is Christine Rapp, and this channel is all about everyday spirituality. It's for anyone who is thinking about starting on their own spiritual path and would like to kind of see what's out there, what things fit for them, what things don't, all the variety of methods and approaches and beliefs that are out there. It's also for people who maybe have already started their own spiritual path and are just looking for a home or someone or a place where things that they are exploring they can share, and maybe where they can find some new ideas and methods as well. So in this video today, I'm going to share with you what I think has been the biggest and best and most important tool that I have used on my spiritual path. And to be honest, I don't even know if my spiritual growth and my spiritual evolution would have even happened if I hadn't used this tool from the very beginning. So I think it's really important. But first, maybe I'll give you a little bit of background so you can see how this tool for me was something new, but also something crucial and critical for my spiritual growth. So I've always been interested in mysticism and in spirituality since the very beginnings. I've always read books about ghosts and by mediums and Sylvia Browne, and reading about Shirley MacLaine's experiences when I was in college. And so it's always been an interest of mine, but it's never been something that I personally pursued. So I grew up in a family where actually religion and spirituality had no role at all. My parents chose not to baptize any of their children, even though they had been raised in Lutheran churches. And they did this very consciously because they didn't agree with organized religion and the influence that it had. And actually, I think my mom has told me that she's an atheist and doesn't believe that there's anything after death, that once you die, you no longer exist and there is no afterlife. I think my dad was a little bit different in that I think he had some intuition and some inclination that there was something after this life or outside of this worldly experience that we have and the reality that we see with our physical senses. But he never really talked about it, and maybe he couldn't quite put a finger on it or didn't really spend a lot of time devoted to that because he was a very analytical, he was a person, he was an engineer and a tool designer. So maybe that had a lot to do with it too. So for me then, to explore spirituality as a personal practice was something going to be very new and revolutionary. And at the time I wasn't ready for it. But what I was ready for was to kind of make it an acceptable practice and even create a career out of it. And I started studying Christian mysticism when I was at university, and ended up getting my doctorate in female medieval Christian mysticism. So I approached it from a very analytical standpoint and never anything as a personal practice, even though I would always come back to reading books and trying different things, but never sustained anything. And then about 5 years ago, I decided that something was missing in my life, and that something was a spirituality, that I needed to bring this in. There was just this drive and this impulse that I had to do it. So I started looking around, but never really felt comfortable with the idea of joining a church community or entering some kind of religious faith, like a formal religious faith. I just didn't feel like that fit for me. And then a friend of mine told me that a person that she grew up with was opening a spiritual center right in my town. And I thought, well, that's perfect. And after I heard about the kind of classes that this person was teaching and the work that she was doing, I thought, this is kind of out of the box, but I think it really fits with what I want and what I'm kind of looking for. And this is where my tool comes in, my big tip. So here I come, a trained academic, very analytical thinking, not anyone who lived openly by using her intuition or speaking to her higher self or contacting or communicating with spirit or anything like that. Although I had always been interested in it, I still was kind of on the fence about it kind of skeptical. I hoped that it was true and that you could do those things, but I don't know. I'd never experienced it truly in any kind of impactful way. But here comes this center. The center is called Faith in Angels. At the time, it was just Reverend Jennifer Shackford, this friend of a friend, who started it, and she brought in one other healer. It has now evolved to become a full healing center with many healers as part of it, but at the time it really was just her. And she was teaching classes on intuition and angel card reading and angels, and that was a huge leap of faith for me. But my tip is that I said to myself, I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm going to try and strip off all of those associations I had with the word angels and people that believed in angels, because for me and my family, religion was kind of a crutch that people could use when they were afraid of kind of everyday life. They were afraid of what might happen. So it was a tool for people who, when they were feeling weak, they could use this to kind of build themselves up so that they felt protected in some way. But it wasn't a real kind of thing. It couldn't really be. So here I come, and I'm going to start taking classes in this place called Faith in Angels. Open mind is what I said to myself. I'm going to go, I'm going to listen. And the one big thing for me, which was a kind of a revelation at the time and something that I'm still thinking on and working on, was the idea of how I had associations with just the word angel. But when I thought about other faiths around the world, angel could just be spirit. It could be energy. You could think of it as your inner voice, your gut feeling. When I started going to classes, I realized that there were lots of words that I could use in place of angels, and it really would have the same function, the same meaning. It means getting in touch with some kind of energy, whether you want to say it's coming from your inner self, or you want to say it's coming from angels or gods and goddesses or shamans or ancestors that have passed on, or from God himself or herself. It really doesn't matter. What matters is whether it resonates, this voice that you're hearing, these messages that you're getting. Do they resonate with you? Do they feed something in your soul? Do they lift you up? Do they inspire you? All of these things are what was really important. And what wasn't so important was the word angels and what I had always associated with it, or how I thought others would see it if I had said that I was going to a place called Faith in Angels. Now, granted, I'm still working through some of those judgment issues where I felt at first I wouldn't even tell people the name of the center. I wouldn't tell people the classes that I was taking on angel card reading or meeting all of the archangels and meditating with the archangels. It was just a meditation class that I was going to. So there's a process that goes along with it. But if I hadn't had this open mind to begin with, where I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe I don't need to judge it right away. Maybe I just need to sit down and listen to it, try it out, experience it, and see if it resonates with me. And if it does, I can take it on. And if it doesn't, I can just let it be. I don't have to kind of make a flash judgment right from the get-go when I hear a word or I hear a name of a religion. So that has served me really well. And it has opened up the world of spirituality, spiritual growth, getting to know who I am, getting in touch with my soul, figuring out why I'm here, and finding a path for myself and a life's purpose that really resonates deeply with me. So, my tip is, first and foremost, if you're starting on a spiritual path, or you're finding you're getting blocked and you're not moving forward the way you want to on your spiritual path or your spiritual growth, is make sure that you're keeping an open mind and you're stripping away all those expectations and all those judgments that either you have been taught or have learned or experienced even in the past, and kind of letting them fall away and then just seeing kind of what comes. And it doesn't mean that you have to accept everything. It doesn't mean that you have to leave those judgments or those beliefs completely by the side. They may come back to serve you well in letting you know that this doesn't fit with me. I'm just not comfortable with this practice or with this belief. That's okay too. But sometimes you need to let them go in order to move forward and let the energy flow. So that's my tip in this video. My next video is, I'm just looking at my notes. My next video, I'm going to talk to you about how I started to learn what my intuition was and how to listen to it. I'm going to be releasing videos on a weekly basis at least. So if you like this video and you think this channel is going to be something you want to follow, click the subscribe button below. Share it if you feel like there's other people that might be interested. And if you want to get notified when new videos come out, you just click the little bell symbol below this. And I'm also going to put in links down below to my other Finding Dharma sites on social media. I've been really active on Facebook, and I'm just starting to set up and use the Twitter and Instagram accounts. And I also have a blog and a website where I've been posting for over a year on the blog. So if you want to check out more of what I'm doing and kind of see where this channel is going to go, feel free to look at the links below and check me out on all those social media sites and on my blog. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And if this resonated with you, I'd love to get some comments. If you have questions or ideas for topics that you'd like to see in the future, or even if you just want to let me know that, yeah, you kind of feel like you've been in the same boat with opening your mind, releasing judgments, I would love to hear anything you have to share. Thanks again. Bye.